Hey everybody! Just wanted to let you know before the episode starts that while recording this one, we hit a little bit of an obstacle. While recording, we noticed about halfway through the episode that our recording got lost. So, what we ended up doing was we re recorded the exact same scenes, a little bit differently, but used the same dice rolls, so you didn't miss anything. So, you'll hear us talk about that, and you'll hear us mention once we hit the point where we lost the recording. Hope you guys enjoy. Again, I did not hear your clap.
I heard yours like a half second after mine, but again, it's everybody else who weighs us down. We are the masters of the clapping in sync. Everyone else is just plebeian status.
Yes. Yes, they're not as good at clapping. So do you know how far it was that to where your recording got to?
So I think we were just essentially in the intro we had discussed all of the conditions leading up to where I was now, and I was asking you it was about when I asked you and clarified on us showing up the night, us finishing from the casino and what time of day it was, and so that I was going back home. And then my preference for Jeremiah was that he got back home. It was a long freaking day. He had some bourbon, some too much bourbon, a lot of pickle chips, and he snoozes into the late morning and wakes up with feeling unwell, definitely crispy, hungover, not kind on himself, and is determining what the hell to do with himself today.
Okay. So we are going to go off of the rolls that we already did, where before leaving your motel for the day, I had you roll to read a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. And I chose to ask if there were any dangers that I haven't noticed.
And the danger that I laid out for you was that you, before leaving your motel room, you take a look out of the front window, just to kind of see what's going on, and you see waiting in the parking lot, not so hostile, but more almost waiting to talk to you. You recognize a police vehicle that is different from the other police vehicles in flats, and you are able to recognize it as a Jomama area police vehicle. And leaning on the side of the car, with a cigarette in his mouth, is Roy Mezcombe.
Alright, so I am choosing to I do believe that a point at which I would like to start is trying to get in touch with Dennis, Detective Dennis, Deputy Dennis, and meet with him. So I do have to leave, and I'm going to choose to leave out the normal way of my apartment to get to my vehicle, and will intentionally cross paths with Roy Mezcombe. And upon seeing him, I greet him with a, "Oh, Roy, what are you doing here? Great to see you."
So I will say, too, don't feel pressured to make the exact same choices you did last time.
I won't. I just am trying to, reset up where we're going.
I do a special place, yes, where we can restructure fate.
I definitely want to change a little bit of how I responded to him and clean it up a little bit. But I do also kind of like where we naturally fell. So I'm probably not going to deviate too much from what we did, but I will work with what we did.
Okay. You see him, and when he meets your gaze, he takes the cigarette out of his mouth, and then almost like he's disgusted by just the sight of you, he spits onto the ground, and then puts the cigarette back in his mouth, and then begins to approach you. And he says, "Jeremiah Sherman Leclair, you motherfucker. Guess it was thanks to that viral little tweet of yours that I was finally able to find you.
Well, Roy, I'm happy you did. You look great. Sleeping well?
He actually, he doesn't appreciate the very joking attitude that he's not being taken more seriously. And he kind of gets in your face. You listen here, Jeremiah. You've been on the run for far too long. And if I had my way, I'd have you beaten and in the back of my paddy wagon right now with your hands cuffed behind your back.
Alright, so I don't appreciate that he's, like, in my face. So I kind of give him just enough of, like, a little shove that I let him know not to be up in my business, but that I'm not looking to necessarily have, like, an altercation. I'm not looking to get away from him. I just need him to back off. So I do that, and then I go, you know, Roy, one of these times it'd be real nice if you were a bit more specific about what's up your ass, because I did a lot of shit back in Joe Mama, and I'm getting tired of this bit, honestly.
He does not appreciate the push, and he actually grabs you by the scruff of your shirt. I am talking about leaving Cassandra all by herself to clean up your goddamn mess. I'm talking about a young defenseless woman having to take on an entire town that was angry and was in financial shit because of the shit decisions you decided to make, and then you think you can just run off without a sense of consequence. And then he
Roy. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and then he lets go of your shirt, kind of putting you down.
Good. Roy, I'm finding it really hard to believe that anything that has to do with Sandra is any of your goddamn business.
It's my goddamn business when I've been more of a fucking father to your daughter than you have.
Is that what you wanted to say before?
No.
Oh, it isn't, because that gets me. Jeremiah feels his face starting to heat up. And he's getting a little puffy over it. And he's like, well, Roy, I'd might have been a better father if I had even known about the kid to begin with. So tell that to yourself when you're thinking about how great Sandra is. And you don't even know half the shit that went on between me and Sandra, or half the shit I went through while I was in Joe Mama. So you can take all of your assumptions and all of your shit, and you can put them in your paddy wagon where you'd rather I be.
You'd see this kind of something like holding him back. I've made a deal with Cassandra. And that deal involves you. Where I know that she gave you 4 weeks for $40,000. And I want you to understand that if you disappoint her, in jail is where you're gonna be.
Well, I'd be curious to know the details of that deal, since I'm so goddamn involved. And I'm wondering if that $40,000's really going to Sandra, or do you got something to do with it?
The deal is that I want you locked up now. But Cassandra seems to still have a little bit of a soft spot for you, and wants at least to give you the chance. But I don't think you'll be able to do it.
So I just kind of look at him for a minute, and I kind of like scoff and then smirk. Trying to think of how I want to phrase this next part. Well, Roy, so happy you found me. I got somewhere to go, got some errands to run. You're welcome to come with. I'm sure I'll see you around at this point. I'll let you know when I get the cash and when you can get the fuck out. Okay? See you later.
Oh, and tell that little friend of yours, Jack, thanks for the tip.
So I'm already walking away, but I kind of stop, and that hits me, but I don't want to show him that it does. So I just keep kind of moving forward and give a little like wave over my shoulder and get to my car.
All right. As you get into your truck, you begin to drive off, and you can see just like the whole altercation. Has definitely just like he knew it was something he had to do, but he's still like very pissed off in your presence. And you can see in your rearview mirror, he takes the cigarette out of his mouth, throws it on the ground, actually steps on it, and then actually like kind of grabs the handcuffs on his hip, kind of clenches them, and then in a moment of frustration actually kicks the side of his car.
I kind of, as I'm driving away, I look like I'm like fine, but then I kind of give this like grimace and like smack my steering wheel pretty hard. Just, and again, in like frustration.
Okay.
Um,
So I will say at this point you've also been texting Deputy Dennis Denham Freeman, and he definitely wants to meet just to discuss the events of not last night but of the other night, of everything that happened in the freezer.
all right, so I ask him to meet me at the Flats Diner at his earliest convenience.
Sure. With that, unless there's anything else you want to do, you head to the Flats Diner. It seems as if he was already in the area, as he has beaten you there. You actually see his cop car in the parking lot before you pull in. As you are walking in, you actually see in one of the booths closer to the windows looking out of the diner, you can actually see Hold'em and Tex talking about something a little serious. So best not to interrupt. But on the other side of the diner, you are able to see Dennis, and he is he sees you walk in and actually gives you a smile and a big wave.
Great. I walk over to Dennis and I go, "Hey, Denny, looking good as always."
Thank you. I actually wanted to show you. And he actually pulls his jacket off. Of course, he's wearing his whole setup: his denim jacket, his denim jeans, his denim shoes. We're gonna give him a denim hat too.
Perfect.
And he actually shows off he got some new denim suspenders.
Great. One of these days, Dennis, a red carpet's gonna roll through here and you're just gonna blow the presses away. I swear to God.
It better be a denim carpet.
Oh, hey, you know what? You're right. My mistake.
Of course. I mean, I appreciate that you can appreciate, some style.
Hey, it's the all-American fabric.
Jeremiah, I actually wanted to talk to you about what happened the other night.
Which night?
At the grocery store.
Oh, right.
And listen, I trust you with all of this stuff. But this is getting kind of intense. Can you tell me about what happened? Because my head's still kind of spinning.
All right. Well, Dennis, I appreciate you as a partner and as a friend and a fellow civil servant. But there's some shit going on, and I don't know how much I can truthfully disclose to you. I'll do my best to answer your questions, but there's a lot of moving parts, so to say, and I wouldn't want you to be walking around here anxious or concerned, so I'll do my best to tell it like it is, but I think it'd probably be a bit easier if you had some more some direct questions or concerns that I can address.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, because my first question was definitely, what the fuck?
Yeah,
So
yeah, I got you.
I'm gonna cross that one off the list.
All right, that's cool.
So then my next question was no, that one's what the fuck too.
All right,
Um,
yeah. I mean, there was a lot going on,
yeah, it
so
was a lot. So uh, so those big body horror meat people,
mm-hmm.
can they just are there more of those out there? Is this gonna be a regular occurrence?
Um, so to my knowledge, there are likely more. However, we're hoping, me and my team are hoping to mitigate a large public threat regarding the situation, and so at this time we're working on it. And there's no known imminent uh concern for yourself or the folks in the immediate town. However, as you know, as we learn more, I would obviously, you're my guy, Denny. So you're gonna get a direct hookup to information. But there's not a lot of specifics that I have to relay regarding that. But yes, we're almost certain that there's more to come, but hopefully not to the extent that you experienced it.
Okay. And he kind of taps the table and leans back. Okay, all right. All right. And then I guess my next question is: can these are they disguised as people? Because I was like, I talked to the manager and the other guy beforehand. I was talking to them for a while.
Mm.
And, before we even got to the back of the freezer, I mean, their personalities seemed a little dry, maybe a little,
Yeah.
business first. I mean, I tried to crack some jokes before we came in, but they didn't, they didn't seem too keen.
Sure.
But they, they could be anybody. These horrible nightmare monsters I still see when I close my eyes.
So to my experience, and you and I, we experience the same thing. So what I know in that regard. That is the extent to which I have had experience with these particular entities. And as I said before, the more I know, the more I find out, I'll let you know. But I'd say, to be safe, you're probably going to want to stick to your circle. I'd maybe try to not talk to anyone, actually, if you can help it. I'm hoping this is a short-lived. We feel like we're maybe getting to the end of figuring out how to squash this whole event. But yeah, I'd say if you're, based off of how we communicated and what we saw, it's likely that they will continue to try and be present underneath that guise of humanity. So, I wouldn't be too concerned. I wouldn't get too upset over it, and I try to just keep to what you know. And you should let me know if you see anything weird, anything a little off. You can text me anytime, call me when you want, call me when you need. I'm here. So yeah, I mean, is anything in particular concerning you? You're just still in the kind of the aftershocks of what you saw, or have you been able to decompress at all?
So last time I had you roll to manipulate someone.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, calm him down, and relax him. And you rolled a 7 plus 3 for a 10, which not only is he kind of good, but, from your soothing politician words, but was why he's kind of... But I also wanted to give you a little bit more with such a good roll of... Jeremiah, there was another reason I wanted to talk to you. I was thinking about if these things are people, and if they're people and those people aren't very people-like, they don't have the same kind of human emotions or things like that. I don't trust the sheriff. I don't trust the sheriff. Yeah,
wow,
the sheriff.
What's going on with the sheriff?
Well, the sheriff, Mabel Kahn. She's been on the force a little longer than I have. But about a few months ago, she used to be a very kind of, joyful person, someone I could kind of joke around with. But about a few months ago, she seemed very, like, her personality went very dry, very, very serious. And she still knows the same kind of stuff on the job. She knows what she's doing. I just assume that, maybe something happened privately that kind of changed her. But I'm kind of worried now if the fact that the reason she's been acting so weird is, oh man, I don't even want to think it.
Did you happen to notice anything? Did she maybe take some time and then? So I'm sorry. So are you saying that you've seen like an escalation in how she's changed over time, or do you feel like there was kind of like there must have been some sort of like static incident, and then she's kind of just her overall demeanor's adjusted, and it's been constant since that point? And you said how long has it been? Has it been days, weeks?
Nah, it's been a few months. It's not something that's escalated, or it wasn't something that I really saw coming. It was like she kind of just left work and I didn't see her for a day, and then she came back almost like a completely different person.
Really?
I've been worried about her,
Yeah.
but I haven't quite known how to bring anything up. How do you,
For sure. Especially your superior, like, what do you do? That's not...
Yeah, just kind
you can
of
only do so much. So was there a particular case she was working on? Or, like, what do you feel was going on?
Yeah, so, the only thing I can really think is, around that time, she, there was an emergency where someone from the city was on the run from the cops, and their vehicle had been identified, and they had been carrying some drugs on them, and the criminal had actually gone into flats and tried to hide out. It was last seen trying to enter the sewers.
Oh.
But we actually needed to split up because there was something else going on, and we kind of did rock, paper, scissors, see who would have to take sewer duty.
That's the official, that's our training.
Of course.
That's what we got to do in order to make a decision like that. So
that's really half of police training, really.
Absolutely. I'm glad you remembered. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So Mabel lost, and she headed into the sewer. And yeah, she came back with the criminal, but she was I don't know, she seemed like her demeanor had just changed.
And you don't think that she's just like pissed that she lost?
I don't think so.
All right. I get a little hot under the collar when I lose rock, paper, scissors. So
of course, but I actually didn't see her until the next day.
Oh, all right.
So the criminal was already being detained. We haven't gotten to the trial date yet because those always take forever.
So you still got him at the local?
Yeah, but
then,
the more that I think about it too, when in his description he was he seemed a bit kind of shaky, a little
spun out.
Yeah, a little spun out.
Alright.
Probably somebody who'd keep running if he could. But when I saw him in his prison cell, he seemed very defeated. I mean, not defeated though, because he didn't seem that upset. He just kind of seemed like he kind of accepted it, like he was just there.
All right.
It was a kind of weird contrast. It was like both of them were kind of in this like similar kind of nothing kind of feeling nothing kind of place.
Right. All right. Well, given what you've told me, I think that you're doing the right thing. You're coming to me with this information. You know what I've been dealing with. So what I'm gonna do is, if you could do me a favor, and if you can, the next time you're in the office, if you could just give me a little bit more information on that particular incident with Mabel, Sheriff Mabel, and this person, and if you could find the records of perhaps if there was any interview with the gentleman when he was brought in, or even if you yourself happens to be at the precinct to ask a few questions, but do me a favor and just try to keep your distance for the most part. What you're telling me, it very well may not be what we experience, but in the event that it is, I just want you to be safe. So, you let me know. You just shoot me a text with the information you find. I'm gonna reach out to my guys and let them know that I have this information, and then I'll definitely keep you posted. I promise. All right, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, I should be able to get back there and probably grab something later in the afternoon and send it to you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Are you hungry?
Oh, I am starving. I feel like I haven't eaten anything since the other day, since everything happened.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I feel good having all that off my chest.
Perfect.
Hey, Julia, can we? Oh yeah, sure, no thing. And you guys order your breakfast.
I also want to order, Julia, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. I'd like a slice of cherry pie sent over that table over there. It's that gentleman's birthday.
It is?
I want to right over there. The two gentlemen sitting together. The one, yep, him. That's his birthday. Yeah. And I know for a fact he likes his cherry pie. And if you could please arrange a little celebration. You don't have to let him know who sent it necessarily. I'll wave at him before I head out. But if you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. I'll get the staff together. And you kind of. They're right now in the middle of their meal, and it doesn't take long before your guys' food comes out. It seems like they're kind of lost in conversation for a bit, and you manage to finish a little before them, and the cherry pie is eventually brought out, and all the staff is clapping and singing happy birthday, and Hold'em is very like, what? Like, what the... Like, looks at Tex like, did you do this? And Tex is like, no, it wasn't me.
So I catch his eye from across the diner, and I just kind of give him a tip of the hat to let him know, wish him a happy birthday from afar.
He kind of gives, he's like, he kind of like, I guess because you're nodding, he kind of gives you a look like, yeah, we've been through some shit the past couple of days, mm-hmm. but also a little bit of a look like, God damn it.
Yeah. And then, so I'd say that's probably, I think that they're left probably finishing up at the diner by the time that I leave and part with Dennis.
Yeah. I think so.
Cool.
And look at that! We're right back.
That wasn't too painful.
No.
We got it. So if memory serves me correctly, we were at the point where we were discussing, I have a deadline and a bill that I need to satisfy. So,
yeah. So we were just like throwing around some ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, to anybody who was really curious, the only difference between the audio we lost and that was, it was pretty much the same thing. Maybe some dramatic points were not there, and like there were a lot more ums. Probably
right,
for me.
A lot of spacing and trying to act on our feet a little bit. We had a dry run before we recorded, but I liked it.
Yeah, I thought that was a better rehearsal.
Yes.
So when are we doing the real one?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is it.
Oh my God, who?
All right, that's all right.
They didn't tell me we're live.
No, you know what? We just got to run with it now. We'll just you'll cut this, right? And you'll they'll never know.
Yeah, I'll cut this part out.
All right, cool. Cool.
All right, so $40,000. So the part that I was like, man, I wish I made that a little bit more clear, was the idea that like if you don't get Cassandra this money, then the deal with that is that Roy is then like you'll be kind of handed to the wolves, and Roy will be able to, arrest you. But if you're able to find the money, then it seems like Roy will kind of leave you be.
What I think is interesting is that if this is true, as far as, because Roy is not necessarily the most reliable narrator for me, like as Jeremiah. So like if I want to believe what he's saying, it's interesting that Sandra would not have necessarily disclosed, you get me my money, or, remember Roy. I just think that's interesting that Sandra was not as forthcoming as she could have been, sort of. So I think that I definitely want to explore how to get rich quick in order to try and satisfy this debt, because I'm invested in helping eradicate this, crap that we're up against. And I also am trying to... You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. I actually lowered my input volume to cough.
Oh, okay.
That's probably an ugly cough.
No, it's fine. All right. So definitely not looking to go to jail anytime soon. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't go visit your daughter from jail.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or meet my daughter for the first time. So if I take inventory and stock, like I kind of like the idea of me like pulling over and rifling through my truck for a minute to see if there's anything that I feel like I could pawn immediately, that I could see that if I could even scrap together a starter fund.
Yeah, sure. So we'll make it fun. We'll have you roll. I guess it would be, I'm trying to think. Actually, let me look at I have two ideas on how we could do this. One of them being you roll plus sharp, just to kind of see like what you can find, Or a part of me wants to have you roll plus weird to see what weird shit Jeremiah kind of just has on hand.
I mean, okay. I mean, it's up to... So which way do you want to go with it? So I can tell you right now that I actually have -1 weird. Mm-hmm. And I have +2 sharp. So
I'll let you roll. I'll let you roll sharp, but that doesn't mean that he might not have some weird shit in his
I'm certain that he probably does. And I would imagine that if he was initially on the run, that he's probably got some leftover crap in his car from probably living in it for a little bit, if I could imagine.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a 9 + 2 is 11.
Okay. All right. Then I would say, So you tell me, what are some ideas that you think that Jeremiah might have on hand? What kind of yes and? I mean, you brought up originally in the alternate universe that the wedding ring was possibly an idea. While there is a part of me that wants to think like, wouldn't it be funny if it was like a really cheap wedding ring? I would say that we'll say that Jeremiah pulled some strings, and this is actually a pretty expensive one.
Cool. Yeah, I think that given the circumstances, I am willing to pawn the ring. I'd like to even say that this probably isn't the first time that I've done that, given my history. But I always managed to get it back. So I don't know if that'll be the case this time, but I would look to definitely pawn the ring And I think that that's probably like a pretty decent win for this role. I mean, I don't know if you also there's probably like a couple of like weird magazines are probably come across, but not that I think that they would earn much money. It's just kind of like comical. And I would imagine that there's probably some like weird or leftover like weapons, not ones that I would actually use or not ones that I keep in me for combat, but like probably like an old shotgun or something that might catch, you know, a couple of bucks for if I pawn it or hawk it or whatever. And maybe like an old baseball signed by something that's like an old childhood possession. Maybe. I don't know. It's up to you on how far you want me to be able to go with this 11 roll, how lucky I really get.
Yeah, sure. So let's say that, and you do also know that there's a pawn shop in town. I can give you estimates, or we can go to the pawn shop to get a more specific estimate. But they might judge you a little bit for some of the stuff. Like, for example, I'll start off first. I feel like Jeremiah would have like a kind of like gold, like a solid gold ring.
Yep.
You know, something like that. And we'll say that that's going for about like... Sorry, I've been like just looking at like wedding rings now for just a bit. And Google probably thinks that I'm going to get married now.
Probably.
I mean, a lot are in like... Some of like the really expensive ones are the ones that like will break 1,000 from just what I'm seeing off of just Google shopping when I search gold wedding ring for men. But with an 11, I'm going to say that the wedding ring is about $1,500.
Okay.
I'm going to say that you have that baseball bat that is, I don't know, sports, signed by,
let's just say a famous big leaguer from Nevada or whatever.
Yeah.
Like somebody from the area. It doesn't have to be... You can come up with a random ass name if you want.
I actually have... So, on the Table Party Twitter, and I will retweet this when the episode comes out.
Okay.
But I did ask people for NPC names, which
Perfect.
was where the sheriff, Mabel Khan, came from.
Great.
But it's actually signed by Mr. Tickletuft.
Oh, fantastic. He was one of the best first basemen in Flats League history.
Yeah, that actually wasn't his original name at first, but He was like so good at, let's say, when he's on first base, and if somebody made it to first base, like he would just like crack jokes. And it would just make the other guy who was like on the other team just start to laugh so much that it would distract them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he'd forget to run, and then the other guy who just hit and is running for first base, he's trying to make it for first base, but the other guy's still there. So then they'd get like 2 outs out at once, and it was so like popular that not only did he become known as Mr. Tickletuft, but he actually legally changed his name to it.
That is a fine piece of Flats history right there.
A Flats, Nevada hero.
Yes.
In
fact, why Jeremiah chose to come to Flats ultimately.
Yeah,
he was a childhood hero of his.
Yeah. So I'm going to say for the signed bat, you could probably get about $2,000 for it.
All right. Cool.
And you're looking through all your weird magazines, and you are able to find two, like, there's some magazines that, like, you grab for the adult side of it. And then there are other magazines that, like, you've kind of just grabbed as, like, reading material. I feel like Jeremiah would, like, he would be like, man, I'm living out of my car. I'm so bored. I got nothing to do or read. And he's like, I know, let me just drive up to this like doctor's office, walk in, take every magazine in the waiting room, and then leave.
So you got any winners?
So not only do you have a like older vintage Playboy magazine,
Nice.
that while it's not in mint condition, so it does lose some value, could probably go for about we'll say about 500.
All right.
And you are looking through the magazines, and you wouldn't even, you kind of just bring all the magazines to the pawn shop, and it actually catches you by surprise when the guy behind the counter actually points out that you have a magazine that is like Lego City magazine, and it is apparently a very hard magazine to find. And he can offer another $1,500 for it.
Wow. So then we're talking about a grand total of $5,500.
Yeah.
All right. I willingly pawn.
Sure.
And just because I remember this from my notes, I don't have the exact stuff written down, but I remember at one point in an earlier episode, I demanded gas money from everyone.
Yes. So
I think it ended up being like $40. Like it was not.
Yeah, I think you only got it from Hold'em, so I think that leaves you at a total of $5,540.
Perfect. So hey, I mean that's a good drop in the bucket for 40,000. So I got 34,460 to go.
Yeah,
cool. So I think that at this point I get back to my vehicle, and I feel a little, I can't believe I'm here again, having to pawn shit again, because I just feel like it's a part of a cycle of just being down in the dumps that my now aging soul is tired of. So I need to get a little bit more creative, and I'd really rather not do anything too nefarious to get the rest of the money that I need, but I'm a little desperate. So I would like to call on one of my special. I remember at some point that Dennis had told me that his sister's kid had some sort of like bike accident or something, and nothing terrible. She just needed a little bit of medical assistance, but the family was tied up, so they went online and did something called group money collecting. I don't remember exactly what the scenario was, but they essentially made like a site, and people just gave them money. And I was like, what? That just sounds like that sounds ridiculous. But I'm thinking that since I potentially have some friends on the internet that might be able to help, that maybe they can come up with some sort of crowdfunding to help get me and Bethany acquainted. Some sort of emotional tale. I don't care what they say. But maybe I can get them to set me up online with a little bit of just something as a catch-all, kind of a little support while I try to figure out how I'm going to go the rest of the way.
Yeah. Are you looking to do you think you can do this yourself, or are you looking to see if you can get a younger person that you know, like William or something, hey, can you help me set this up?
So I actually have the contact people on the internet thing.
Oh, yes. So you are tech savvy. I think that, sorry. I'm struggling against my own
biases.
Stereotypes. Yeah.
No, so I have the Net Friends special move where it's, a lot of people on the internet. When you contact a net friend to help you with a mystery, roll plus charm on a 10 plus, they're available and helpful. They can fix something, break a code, hack a computer, or get you some special information. On a 7 to 9, they're prepared to help, but it's either going to take some time or you're going to have to do part of it yourself. On a miss, you burn some bridges. So I'm thinking that in the scenario, I can roll, and you can come up with whatever the back end of it is, but I would be hoping that they would figure out a way to, in best case scenario, I would like for them to set me up with a crowdfunding thing using, a slightly emphasize an exaggerated tale of me needing to meet my daughter for the first time, to rake in some funds from Bleeding Hearts Online, but would even be great if they could, finagle a way to make it so that the money rolls in quickly, or even get me a starter fund that people can then add to or something. That would be like best case scenario, but obviously depending on how I roll, which will probably not be well now that I've hyped it up to that, but
Well,
so.
we'll see. So
right.
let's have you roll push charm.
All right. So it's a 5 plus 3 is 8.
Okay. On a 7 and 9, they are prepared to help, but it's either going to take some time or you're going to have to do part of it yourself.
Uh-huh.
So I would say with this, it seems as if you are getting a good amount of attention. Is this something where it's like you have like a goal that you, like, this is my set goal, I want, I don't know, 35,000? Like that's what I'm shooting for or something? And then
yeah, I would say that I'm still going to try to go, even if this is building online and they're trying to collect money from me, I still am going to try to, I can't guarantee that that's going to work out. So, or that I'm going to get enough. So I'm still going to do my own stuff, but I would definitely throw it on there with like a $40,000 goal or something and make up some shit about having to travel to her or whatever, pay some bills so that I can actually get to my daughter or something. But, some sort of fabricated story. But then in the meantime, I'm going to still try and build up whatever I can.
So I would say with an 8, you are watching the numbers and you are watching what is going on, and you set up this this group send me money page, and you share it with all your little Twitter followers, and they start to jump to it. And just like most Kickstarters or GoFundMes, when usually ones that have a deadline, there's a lot of attention at the beginning, and you are seeing the numbers come up. And immediately you are hitting, it's not too long before, it does take some time, but eventually you get to 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000. And the number keeps going up, and you hit about, I'd say you hit about 9,000. Actually, just a little over 9,000. I'm sorry, that was so bad. And
it's okay.
And then you noticed somebody comment on the page, and they're like, because now this is getting attention. It's even like gone a little viral, like, help this poor, like, innocent Southern man, like, reconnect with his daughter, and there's somebody like, hey, that's Jeremiah. He's from my town of Jomama. This guy sucks. And it starts to lose a little bit of the buildup. And now just slowly it seems to be creeping about maybe 10,000, almost around 11,000. But it has slowed down dramatically. You can actually see in the comments, some people have started to argue like, what are you talking about? This guy's so funny. He wouldn't be some shitty whatever. Like, he knows Jane Lynch. Like, I was there.
All right, so I'm gonna... Go ahead.
Yeah. And you actually notice one of the people defending you is, I don't know if you've seen him, but is Cliff's friend Clyde. Like, I was in Las Vegas, and I saw Jane Lynch there. This guy doesn't lie.
This is fantastic. This is just such a, like, not where I would have thought Jeremiah would ever end up type of scenario.
Mm-hmm. So I would say it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. I'm gonna comfortably rely on what I see it collect. I'm just gonna assume, I'm gonna say, all right, even if I only get the 11,000 out of this, about where it is now, that's still 11,000 more than I had, seemingly an hour ago. Like, this thing took off very quickly. So Then if I consider that it would be about 11, then I'm sitting right around like 23 and change that I still need to dig up. So could you remind me of who are other resources that we've met along the way and what they might have that I could potentially ask them for? I know you mentioned somebody before, the alien friend.
Yeah, sure. So you have Luna, who is the Area 51 agent. You have Jesse, your alien friend. Those two haven't met yet. You have Mateo, who you're not quite sure if like he's homeless or just doesn't want to go home yet. And then you have the people at the casino. Whether that be Big Boy George or any of the other people. Of course, you've met Jack before. And that is mostly it. A lot of the other people you have met have either been retail workers or have tried to kill you.
All right. So I don't know if this is going to completely, and you can cut, so I'm going to say right now, you can cut this out if you don't want to do this. So, like, just to put it in the recording, so that way you know if we end up not going forward with it, we can stop it. Because we have this dice parser thing available to us, because I'm a risky person, generally, as Jeremiah, would you be open to simulating my going to the casino and trying to earn a little bit of cash with blackjack?
Oh, I would be absolutely down.
I might need your brain to help me figure out exactly how we would go about doing that, but essentially we'd need to figure out, I guess it would be, I can technically roll for, like, as if you're the dealer and you roll and you're putting out what the card is, and then I roll, and then I can see how close I can get, or I don't know how it works. I don't know exactly how we'd end up doing it, but I think that would be pretty funny if we could figure out if I could actually in real time earn a little bit extra by doing that.
Sure. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to go to the casino, and I will give you and we'll do 3 rolls.
Okay.
And in the spirit of Monster of the Week, we're going to still keep them 2d6.
Okay.
But we're going to make each one different.
Okay.
So, for example, the first one is going to be plus your cool, to keep a collected face, be able to bluff people out, and be able to just, be able to slide by, maybe, just have a lying face,
Okay.
The other thing is going to be sharp, which is going to be paying attention to those around you, being able to recognize who might have a good hand, who might not, and be able to read people. And the last one is going to be plus weird for luck alone.
Okay. So you tell me when you want me to make the, like, am I gonna make the first one now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. And this one was plus charm, you said, right? To be like.
Nope. Plus cool.
Oh, plus cool. Okay.
Actually, we can do all three, and then we'll see how they go.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So the first one was plus sharp, so it's going to be 7.
Okay.
And then the second one you said was.
Well, the first one I said was plus cool.
Okay. So then that is 6.
Okay.
So I am not cool at all. The second one you said, I'm sorry, is sharp. Plus sharp. So that one would be a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one would end up being an 8.
Okay. So 2 mixed successes and a failure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with the failure, I want you to mark experience.
Okay.
And you go to... So, the casino where that Hold'em works at is actually closed today. Shiver me timbers. After everything that's happened yesterday, you actually go past, and the glass door that everybody had just been walking through yesterday has been covered up with a piece of plywood, and they are closed.
Okay.
And you head to one of the other casinos in the area, and one of the other larger ones, and you sit down to play a game, and the one dealing the cards you recognize as Jack. And while he kind of, gives you a kind of smirk and a smile seeing you there, you can't tell if he's very hard to read. You can't tell if he's either like, I recognize you, so maybe I'll help you out a little bit, or if he's like, hey, we'll see how this goes.
All right.
And over that, I would say you probably collect about an extra... You know what? Roll a D100 for me. Because why not? Everybody else is going to be looking in the chat and sees like a D100, and they'll be like,
what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
It's a 17.
Okay. So with that, you manage to... Yeah, then I would say you managed to get about an extra $170.
All right.
It's not much, but you're kind of glad you didn't sink it all.
Right.
You're like, oh, at least I got... I mean, because then, then there's the change you got to get on it. And it was definitely a bit of back and forth. There was definitely a point where you were like, oh shit, I am in the hole a little bit. I kind of have to win some of this back. And you manage to then bluff your way through, and you actually get your pot back, and you're like, nice! Oh, big winnings. And then you go to actually count it up at the front counter, and they're like, here you go. And it's just like $170.
Alright, I tried.
Yeah.
I think that I'd want to go to... I'm assuming that there's some sort of, like, bar or something Okay. So I'd like to go over and just take a minute to, I've been hustling since I left the diner, so I want to take a minute to just chill and grab a drink. And just kind of look around and people watch for a minute.
Sure. Roll plus sharp for me.
It's 12. Did I do math correctly? Yeah, it's a 12.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god, this whole time, can I just tell you, as an aside, you can cut this out if you want, this entire time that I've been using Dice Parser, I did not realize that they added it for you, and it's that little blue number on top.
Really?
I would literally stare at this and, like, panic in my brain because I'm not a math person. Even simple math I have a hard time with sometimes. And I'd be like, 4 plus 6, I think it's 10. And then, yeah, all right, it's a 10. I think it's a 10. And then I'd add my numbers, not realizing that it's right there.
Oh my goodness. I can cut that out if you'd like.
No, I think it's funny. It doesn't matter to me. But I just throwing it out there that I'm like, wait a minute. It says 10. Did they add it for me? They did. What a guy.
So it doesn't quite feel right to, just throw at you, the investigative mystery questions or read a bad situation. Because I would say that this isn't one. This is you kind of just taking in your surroundings. Mm-hmm. And you notice after kind of cashing in your winnings that Jack, who is manning the table, is actually relieved by someone else. You swear you've seen them before at the casino, one of the other numbers, and he switches out and he goes to leave. Other than that, though, you are kind of just watching the rest of the casino, and between the people working the casino, it seems like there's kind of an uneasy tension. Where you've been in the casinos before, and usually the dealers and whatnot, when they're interacting with each other, they're usually fairly lighthearted and easy, while now it seems like there's definitely a sort of tension, where, some don't trust others, and that kind of makes sense after everything that's happened yesterday, especially when it comes to trusting those that were on the second hierarchy, and that there is a sort of frustration that now lingers in the employees. Mm-hmm. Seems as if word of the incident yesterday has also gotten around with anybody else who seems to be in the order, because there are employees that aren't in the order. Right. They seem to be a little more confused as to why is everything so awkward, but some other people, you can definitely get the sense of, yeah, it's a little weird around here. Other than that, though, you actually notice at one of the other tables, you actually see Clyde there, and Clyde is actually talking to one of the other employees. He seems like his kind of goofy self. He looks like if a vacation dad and a golf dad were fused together.
Right.
And he is just kind of talking this guy's ear off. Whether about the money he's won or lost, but he still seems to have a smile on his face. Mm-hmm. You definitely get the sense that he's probably been hammering this guy for a bit, but not in maybe more in a way oh my god, this guy's been here forever.
Right.
Other than that, though, you don't notice much else that really seems out of the ordinary.
All right. Do I see if there's anybody? Do I see if it looks like there's anybody that's in their winnings or excitement or intoxicatedness look like anybody's left behind a few tokens here or there that I could pocket because they're unattended?
Yeah, I will give you two things for such a good roll. You see on one of the tables, maybe about 15 feet from you, it seems as if somebody who was a little too drunk kind of left their chips on the table, and kind of just left them for a moment as they're now like heading past you to go to the bar, probably grab another drink, and look like they're probably pretty easy to swipe. And then the other thing that you've noticed that you've kind of been hearing a little bit is there seems to be somebody who won really big on one of the slot machines. And they are currently seems like a probably like a older gentleman who seems to be on a vacation of sorts. He has kind of these like cargo shorts on and this like Hawaiian button-up shirt. He actually has like sunglasses clipped to the front of his to his front, and he has just went up to the front and cashed in what must be a high amount because some other people are definitely starting to give him some attention, almost hoping he'll give them a little bit of something. But he seems maybe a little distracted as he's walking out. Actually, know what? No, I'll give you a better opportunity for that. He actually has what they actually do. You know what? I've never been to a casino. I'm wondering how do they give you your winnings? They're like, do they write you a check? Do they? I'm like, I wouldn't imagine they just hand it out in cold hard cash. You know what I mean?
I believe I've only been to a casino once, and I didn't really walk away with anything. So, from my recollection, you go up with either your ticket stubs or your tokens, whatever it is that you've won on. Because I never play the tables. I was only playing slots or machines.
Yeah, my Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Right, and you went up, and I believe, again, it would have been I might have won 150, and I believe I got it in cash.
Oh,
it wasn't
okay.
it was cash. But I don't know if when you, typically when you earn a big amount, it gets the attention of management too. So I don't know. I think that I don't know how much they actually end up giving you in cash and otherwise go hey, well, we'll give you a dinner here or whatever. I have no idea.
Yeah, sure. We'll say that, because this is our casino. This is our world.
Yeah.
We will say that the management came down and they double checked everything and they were like, wow. And they actually handed this guy a briefcase that he is walking out with.
Like Deal or No Deal style?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, alright. So is he still kind of being swarmed a little bit by people getting attention, or is he off?
He was probably about to maybe head out, but it seems as if a lot of people have kind of swarmed around and are very interested in what he's doing.
And does he seem a little bit annoyed at the attention? Does he kind of seem like he's a little looking to get away from them and just looking to get on his way?
Not really, actually. He almost seems like he's a little flattered by it.
Oh, all right.
He's you wonder who is this guy with on vacation, because he seems to the way that older men are oh, the ladies are interested in me.
Right.
Fucking weirdos I'm kind of just laughing away, kind of liking the attention.
So I'm not sure how I would want to approach him. I would say if he looked like he was maybe a little bit not frustrated or really irritated but overwhelmed by the crowd or by the swarming, that I could kind of pose as almost all right, give the guy some room, let him get on his way, get off, almost like a imposed or a self-elected bodyguard type situation, and then helped him figure out where he wanted to go and kind of became his buddy. That was going to be my first scenario. But if he seems to be enjoying the attention and hanging out and not looking to really get away from it, then that wouldn't really work. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. If I'm at the bar and I can see that there's a bit like an ability to swipe some abandoned tokens from a table, I would do that willingly and very blatantly. Like, I'm not worried about that because they're left behind, so I'm just gonna sweep them if I can.
Sure. Why don't you roll plus cool for me?
But I did such a good roll. All right,
But
let's see. I think I'm switching between tabs. Sorry. So that's a 9.
okay, I will say with a 9, this is not too difficult. I will say that you managed to swipe the chips, and when the guy, eventually comes back from the bar, he will notice that they are gone, but he does not know where they have gone. He's like, what the fuck?
And how much would you approximately say that was?
I would say probably about $200 worth.
Chipping away.
Yeah. And I will also say at this point, it seems as if he's a little like, okay, like, all right, let me get through to the, I appreciate the attention, but let me get through to the exit.
All right, so then, and we said that we saw that, like, Jack was relieved from his duties, but he hasn't really interacted with me in any way. I just see that he's more leisurely, like, relaxed kind of in the area.
Yeah, he seemed like he had somewhere to go, and he actually exited the casino.
Oh, right, I'm sorry. Okay.
To those who know, which is all the people listening, he is now interacting with Hold'em.
Ooh. Cool.
Ooh.
All right. So then, I think I'm going to try my scenario that I thought of before, in that I would like to try and act as like a pseudo bodyguard friend of this older gentleman, because I'm also an older gentleman, and probably would seem not a threat to this man. I would think, where and I seem like a local yokel, so I would step in and try to help escort this gentleman to. I don't know if this is a casino where they have, like, hotels associated where he's staying on the property, or if he's looking to get to a car. I don't know what the scenario is in this regard that I'd be helping him off to, but I at least want to try to get close enough to him to make him seem like I'm a trustworthy character who's looking to just help him get to his destination.
Sure. Sure. Why don't you roll plus charm for me?
Okay. So that's 9.
9? All right. Then with that, I will say that he is appreciating the help as you are like, come on, like, back up, let him go where he needs to go. Because it doesn't even seem like management is too interested now. They're kind of like, he's heading out. It's not so much our problem anymore. And this is a guy who's probably here for vacation. He's not like some, like, rich guy who comes here to gamble a lot. He doesn't have his own, like, entourage. You're like, yeah, come on. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
I have a scenario in my head. God, you finished how you were going to talk about him, but I have something I want to try.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just saying he didn't have anything else to say. He was just saying that he appreciated it.
Yeah. Like, you're still walking him out. Like, there's still a little bit of a crowd behind him. You're not completely out of the casino yet. You tell me what you're thinking.
So, this is under the assumption that he has to get back to where he was going to go, and that it would require him taking a car. I would want to... This is just assuming. It might not be the case. So, under that assumption, I would like to try and, like, almost like a sleight of hand, be a real pal and be like, don't worry about it, man. I get it. I've made some winnings like you have, and I know that people just absolutely flock to you like you're going to be a charity for them. So let me grab you a car, and where are you heading? Where's your next destination? And so, since it's a casino and their people are frequently coming and going, I would assume that it would be easy to to hail down like a taxi or an Uber immediately outside. And then I would like to offer, and just in a very quick and friendly and, like, sickeningly sweet interaction with the guy, open the door for him to let him get inside, offer to put the to take the thing from him and put it in the trunk for him and swipe some out of it as I put it away for him. Like, I don't want to be like so bad that I just like pretend to put it in the trunk and leave with the briefcase, even considering I get this far, because I may roll horrendously and then end up in an altercation right now. But I would like to grab a couple of wads of some from it and then send him on his way and just pretend like I was like this little domestic buddy to get him from point A to point B, and then I vanish.
So I will say with an 8, or it was 9, right? With a 9.
Yeah.
I will say that you managed to track down, you managed to get down a taxi, and he is like, oh, thank you so much. You seem like you really know the area. I really appreciate it. And you open up the door for him, and he kind of like excitedly kind of just like holds the briefcase with both hands. Actually, no, with just one hand close to him. And it seems like he does not want to put it like in the trunk or anything. He wants to carry it with him.
Mm. Okay.
Oh, I'm heading to my hotel's it's a few blocks down. My son, he was on a business trip here, and I figured why not come with, So he's in a business meeting right now, but oh my goodness, is he gonna be surprised when I came down to the casino all by my little self, with no, without even anybody to protect me, and I got all this money.
Okay. My goodness, that's quite a story. Your son's gonna be so impressed when he finds out. Say, you're right. I do know the area quite well. Would you like to grab a bite to eat with me? I'd love to treat you to something local.
You know what? Because he's kind of like, because now he's getting a little mixed signals, because it was like, we got the taxi now, and he's like, he
I was gonna hop in the taxi. Like... I was gonna get in the taxi with him if he says yes.
Okay. Sure. What's your name?
My name's Jerry, sir.
My name's Finn. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, Finn. Driver, could you take us to the... And I reference out like a very local chain, like a very well-known local chain, and just assume that there's one close by and hope that there is. Because I don't actually know this particular casino area very well. I'm totally bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
In hopes just to keep him company. And if I can't get close enough to try and get any of the money, then I'm just going to say I took an old man out to lunch and call it a day. But hoping that an opportunity arises.
Okay. I will say with this, it's actually pretty easy. It's a chain that, that there's like a few in Vegas already. And how? What do you think? Just for humorous sake, do you think this is a chain where it's like kind of diner style? We're gonna sit down and eat, or is this somewhere where it's like you can eat inside, but there's also a drive-through?
So I was considering, since we're in a taxi, I was considering it being a place where we were gonna get dropped off and go inside and like sit in a booth or something.
Yeah. So this nice little Italian place that there's actually a few of them around, kind of like the same way that there's plenty of Geno's around in New York. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're talking about Giuseppe's.
Giuseppe's.
Oh, all right, yeah, I know Giuseppe's.
I'm the taxi driver. I know where the Giuseppe's is. Don't you worry, I gotcha.
Perfect.
Thank you.
He sounds like the long lost twin of the guy with the money.
Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Jeremiah, I was feeling so overwhelmed by them.
But... Oh, so I specifically told him my name was Jerry.
Oh shit, you're right.
Jerry... to avoid any in case. The case.
Yeah. Jerry, I really do appreciate you giving me a hand back there. I mean, I appreciate the attention, but of course, I would be ecstatic if somebody around me got that kind of money. But let me treat you to a meal.
Oh, Finn, you don't. I mean, come
on! I need somebody to celebrate with till my son gets out of his meeting. Come on.
All right, Finn. All right, I'll let you get this one. All right, but nothing too crazy. You know, I don't want you to spend all that money you just won.
Well, then you better order something cheap, huh?
Oh, Finn. Oh, good one.
I have no idea where this is going anymore.
Me either, but I kind of love it. It's kind of good.
So you guys get to Giuseppe. There's like, it's both like, it's either like you could sit down for like some pizza and like in a booth, or you can like actually sit down and have like a meal. And,
so I don't know if you remember. Yeah, like do you remember like so you're treating it like kind of like one of our local pizzerias? Kind of like where there's like a pizza counter, like a pizza slice counter, but then you can also sit in the dining room.
Yes, but
okay.
You know what? There's like a pizza parlor area, but then you could also like walk through there, and then near the back there's a person with like menus, and then there's like a fancier back room.
Have you ever been inside of Imperial?
I've not, but I have been in places like that.
because it's exactly like Imperial.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Like you literally walk towards the back, and then there's like a little attendee stand, and they're like, "Would you like to sit down to eat like more like of a legit meal as opposed to just the pizza counter booths?"
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're in Giuseppe's. It's a fancy casual.
Yeah, fancy casual. Yeah, it's somewhere nice that like you can still feel like, I can get a chicken palm and like a salad, but I can still wear my sandals.
A chicken parm and a salad, but I still get to wear my sandals. Oh my god, that's really funny.
So as you sit down and you are looking at your menu across from Finn, you take a look around Giuseppe's and you see there aren't too many other people. I would say everything with Roy happened in like the morning, and then you went to the diner for like a brunch, and now you're kind of in like Giuseppe's for like a later lunch or dinner kind of thing.
All right.
I'm just trying to keep with the timeline of
yeah.
else. And actually, you look around. So there's not too many people here. It's probably before a dinner rush, and you actually see sitting at a table by herself is Cassandra.
Oh, fuck. I shouldn't have went to use the bathroom. Wouldn't have given you time.
Did you not go to the bathroom?
No, I'm saying I shouldn't have left to go to the bathroom because it wouldn't have given you the time to concoct Sandra being there.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, damn it, I shouldn't have taken a break. So, before you said that, I was going to consider trying to roll to... First of all, convince Finn to order a nice wine for the table, and then was going to try to, I've decided that I no longer want to try to swipe from the man because I kind of actually like him a little. Mm-hmm. But because it seems that he has a good relationship with his son and seems to be a family man, was going to try and tell him the story of me looking to meet and get along with my daughter for the first time and let him know that I'm having some financial woes and try to see if he would offer me a little bit of his newfound winnings just for showing him a nice time, even though my original intentions weren't very savory. So that was the route I was going to go, but now that Sandra's there, I feel like I don't have I'm working on borrowed time at the moment.
Let's make this kind of interesting for us.
Great.
No, for us at like from a meta kind of like enjoying this scene from like a different perspective.
Okay.
I want you to roll plus sharp.
Ugh. It's a 6.
It's a 6. Okay. For that, I want you to mark experience.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it.
And you and we as the audience see that Cassandra is there. And we're going to change that. Instead of her being at a table, she's, like in like a fancier place there, the booths along a wall. She is actually in the booth next to you, like back to back with you. And from an audience, we can see her, but Jeremiah has not noticed her.
Ugh. All right.
And it doesn't seem like she's noticed him either. Doesn't have to. I want to see how the rest of this plan goes, like with us, the audience, like knowing Cassandra is there, and it might add a little extra tension or suspense.
So I actually really enjoy this because what I was gonna say is that to me, having that information does not change at all how I'm about to go about this, because I was not necessarily, while like I said, while Finn, as he knows him, is Jerry, while Jerry's original intentions were to be more deceitful and criminal, I think that Jerry sees an opening where it's absolutely still manipulative to go this route, and it's but it's not entirely untruthful, I think, is where I'm feeling, in that Jeremiah truly is, in my opinion, flabbergasted at the idea that he has a child, touched at the idea that he might actually be able to meet his daughter, or want to get to know her as a person, because he really does love Cassandra and would love a byproduct of his relationship with Sandra, but he's in a tight spot, right? So knowing this, I feel like Jerry is about to have a conversation with Finn that's actually more truthful than it's not, even though the overall intention is to try and get some money out of Finn, but not so manipulative in nature, but not necessarily untrue.
No, I understand.
Kind of a dichotomy that speaks to how Jeremiah is trying to change as a person and get away from how terrible he was.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Do you want to kind of leave it at that, or did you want to kind of explore it and like really kind of try to talk to Finn?
I mean, so we can leave it at that. I wasn't sure if because it sounds like, per what you told me about Hold'em's run that you just did with him, his didn't fully resolve.
I mean, his did.
Okay.
I will give you this spoiler. His resolved maybe around, like maybe like you probably have like a little bit of time left before you're about to get a text from Hold'em asking if you can help me.
Okay, so I would have liked to seen if I could actually get money from Finn, but I don't have to have the actual dialogue with him. We can leave it at, this is what my intent of the dialogue was, and if you want, when we meet with Hold'em, you can just disclose whether or not I was successful. Like, it's up to you.
No, I think we have the time in the room here.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to, describe the exact word for word what you said, but I think what you laid out, we as the audience understand.
Yeah.
What's going on.
It's a true account of how I feel about the situation, even if the intention is to ultimately manipulate some money out of this gentleman.
Yes. The emotion, the meat of the sandwich is true, but the bread is Correct. The falsehood.
Absolutely.
So why don't you roll plus charm for me?
It's a 10.
Nice. Wow. Okay. Then with that, I think that not only does Jeremiah kind of weave together this, I don't know how much he discloses about his history, but more so that he's learned he has a daughter, or maybe he sets up that he's been separated in some way, and that he needs money in a way to see his daughter again. But he lays out a lot of his emotions, a lot of the ways that he is feeling, and how he truly wants to get to know his daughter. And while he is speaking on this, you can see Finn kind of like his heart is touched by this story, and he's kind of like, oh, like he is like fully enthralled by this story, and then we as the audience actually see Cassandra's point of view. She is eating alone at the booth, at the other booth, but as you speak, you can tell that she recognizes Jeremiah's voice, and at first she's not quite sure what to do, and she's a little angry, but as she listens to what Jeremiah lays out, she kind of takes a moment to listen. And she is kind of pulled in by the words that he is saying, and seems a bit touched by the emotions that he's laying out.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to happen, so...
And actually, before you finish, and before Finn even gets a chance to react, you hear behind you the person sitting at the booth, because you at least noticed that there was one person there, but you didn't really notice who it was. You hear them presumably take out some cash, throw it on the table, and then almost like just march right out with their head down.
And do they pass me so I can see who it is, or is it like behind me?
No, they pass you, and
Okay.
you are able to see from behind. Oh my God, Cassandra just heard that whole thing.
Cool. I love that. I love this so much.
And Finn is like he was just about to speak, and then like he sees her do that, and he's kind of confused, and he's like, oh, Jerry, that is such a touching story. You know what? I really appreciate the way that you kind of helped me out today. Here, I want you to take some of this. And he,
Finn, no, that's not necessary.
No. You know what? I think you know what? I love my son so much. He makes me proud. So you know, you know what? I get where you're coming from as a father. You know, I remember when he was so little. You know, and now he's out there. He's out there making good money. He's being a good boy. So I want you to take some of this, and he hands you. We'll say he hands you about $7,000.
Finn, I'm so touched. Thank you so much. I'm sure that your son is also proud of you.
Thank you. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I didn't used to be. I kind of get what it used to be. You know, looking for money where you can. But you know, my son. I think he's with the job he's had. He's been a little more well off. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this, but we'll see. I'm just glad that you know, I can help you out, and maybe I'll help out some other people. And then the waiter comes by, and puts down 2 plates, and Finn's like, "Oh, my salad!" And depending on how hungry you still are from your diner experience before that, you're kind of finishing up, and as you are, you get a text from Hold'em asking to meet up.
Cool. Finn, I'm so sorry to leave you at the end of this amazing meal. Are you sure that there's nothing I can contribute to this? You've already given me so much. I really don't mind paying my way for the meal.
Oh, don't worry about it. Nah, I got it. I mean, who else gets to walk away from Vegas with that? Would you just walk me to my taxi just to make sure?
Absolutely. Come right this way. Just make sure you leave. You know, the girl. Really, the service was excellent. If you could just leave and make sure you tip the lady nice.
Oh, I already did.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he leaves a nice fat tip.
Nice. PH fat with a PH, like Flats, Nevada.
Yeah, a nice flat, fat tip.
All right, so I escort him to his taxi, get him all nestled inside with his briefcase.
Yeah, he's kind of holding it like a little cute old man.
Yeah,
he's like,
and I just confirm that he knows exactly where he's going, and make sure that the taxi guy is aware as well.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, Jerry. I don't have a lot of friends in this town. Maybe I'd want to meet for another lunch. Can I have your number? And he actually pulls out like a little flip phone.
I don't know, between the way that you've completely described this man and then also what you said about his being a parent and his son, I legitimately was choked up sitting here. Like, this absolutely, I was like, this is so cute. I willingly gave him my number, because to me, he's not a, Finn, yeah, absolutely. Give me your number. I'm going to put it in my phone, and I'll send you a message letting you know it's me. Finn, what's your last name?
Oh, it's, they didn't give me a last name on the Twitter account.
Right. I was just making sure that this guy wasn't affiliated with somebody that would be a bad news for me later on, but that's fine.
Oh, it is, I'll cut this out. Hold on a second.
Okay. I just figured this whole time, I'm like, oh, this is just a really nice old man. I just really lucked out with this whole thing, and then it turns out that he's like the father of somebody that's bad news for me or something. Would be really funny.
Yeah, my name is Finn Parasite. Oh my god. Oh, my name is Finn Nim. Nim.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Nim. The next time you're in town, with your son or otherwise, absolutely look me up, and you have a great rest of your evening, all right? And thank you again so much. I cannot wait to meet my Bethany, and you've just made me that much closer.
Of course, Jerry. Have a good rest of your day.
Send him on his way.
Yeah, with that, he is sent off. You check your texts again. Which I think is kind of funny because, when I was doing this with Matt, I was like, yeah, we'll have Hold'em send out a text to everybody. And then we were talking about, like, well, where do you think would be a good place for you guys to meet up? And he's like, probably Jeremiah's motel room.
Oh, there you go.
So you've basically been told, like, hey, we're going to meet at your house.
I mean, that's fine. It's gonna reek of pickled chips and bourbon, but that's the standard, so they can deal.
Yep. Yeah, and I would say with that we get our day in Jeremiah's shoes.
Fantastic. I have put a note on my character sheet that my current balance for my 40K, considering everything that I know of now and not necessarily what the end total for my crowdfunding is I have 16,090 left to collect.
Cool.
I don't think that did we say exactly the amount that I took off the table for that gentleman? I think that we said that he came back and looked for it.
Yeah, that was about 200.
Okay. So then I'm actually at 15,890.
All
cool.
right.
Getting there. And I still have like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, as long as the world doesn't end within those 3 weeks or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Table Party has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at The Table Party and at Team Chaos Pods, or on Instagram at Team Chaos Productions. See you again soon.
Okay, that maybe gives you a second to figure out what the fuck to do with Giuseppe's.
I was like, yeah, episode with every person will be like an hour, and then it's just gonna be 40 minutes of you and Finn how are you doing?
Alright, I'll be right back.
Yeah.